Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome back to another video here on the John Doc YouTube. Before we get started with that, you guys know we're giving away this nitrous Mustang Boomhauer LS Swap Holley EFI, and we have a huge announcement to make today. This is a long time coming over here at LS Nasty. We're opening up a new division for you people at home. It is the small block Ford Nasty. We got brand new shirt out. It is absolutely amazing. It is the small block Ford Nasty first ever shirt, and it says distributor in the front, party in the back, like all you small block Ford guys know. So you guys can go over to lsnasty.com. So now we got merch for you Ford guys, and we got merch for you GM guys. Mopar guys, I don't know what to tell you.
Keep hitting them crowds.
Yeah, keep hitting them crowds. Go to lsnasty.com. Every item you purchase an entry to win. We got those new small block Ford Nasty shirts up there. We're going to have small block Ford Nasty hats later on this week. We got a bunch of LS Nasty shirts, hats, stickers. I'm wearing one of the brand new hats. Look at that. It's got Slick Rick on the hat. That is on the website as well. So you guys can go down to lsnasty.com. It's the first link in the description below. And like I said, every item you purchase is an entry to win. All right, y'all, welcome back to another video here on the John Doc YouTube channel. We're at the shop, we're working on the Sheep, and I wanted to talk about the last video. I've noticed lately that it's always great to have people commenting, but there's been a lot of people commenting different things about chassis setup, the car, what changes we should make, what we're doing wrong, who we need tuning it, this, that, and the other. And so what we're going to do now is we're literally going to show you some data logs, show you what we're working with, show you about what the car is doing as it goes down track from a data perspective. I understand that a lot of you guys watching these videos drag race or into drag racing, have been around drag racing for a while. Some of you guys just like to watch it, and then some of you guys really know what you're talking about. But it's tough to really make any adjustments. You'll notice if you're racing your own stuff, you'll know it's hard to make adjustments without the data. You can only do so much by a visual. So we're going to go into the data here a little bit, but do my best to kind of try to show you the screen with the camera so you guys can understand what the data log. We'll talk about what we data log. We're going to talk about the shocks, because the QA1 shocks that we put on the car were a huge key to success. I don't know about you, but I don't think if we didn't have those shocks on there, we probably wouldn't have been able to do what we did.
No, it'd have been too hard to try to adjust around the problems that we have.
Yep, so we literally used a really good shock that was super versatile to band-aid a couple other issues with the chassis. Right here, normally the black sheep would be sitting here. We have it over on the lift right now where we're making some adjustments to the chassis to try to alleviate that. So we are proactive in trying to fix it. But I see a lot of people talking about bar angles in the comments. They're talking about having Steve Petty come and tune it. That's probably one of my favorite comments. You guys are like, you need to pay Steve Petty to come and tune it. If Steve Petty were to come and tune this car and he would go look at the data, he'd say, well, here's your problem. This is why it won't get down track. I mean, a tune-up's a tune-up.
And then he'd look at the chassis and go, oh, that's the problem, because it was set up to be a 10.5 car, and you can't get the bars where you need them to be.
Yep. So it's a little bit more than what meets the eye, I guess you could say. But I do appreciate all the comments. For those of you guys that were just bitching about knocking the tires off, and you need to have this person tune it or that person tune it. Honestly,
or it never did before. Before, you really were never raced on any mediocre tracks.
The tracks we've been to have definitely been mediocre. You guys saw what happened as soon as the track came around. Well, literally, I said it in the video. I said, we need to get a good tune-up to go through first round, maybe second round, until the track gets better, then we're good. We've known all along that when the track gets good, when the sun goes down, when it gets super sticky, we could throw all the power, put whatever tune-up in there, and go personal best. That's not an issue. The issue was getting there. We had to have that greasy track, that hot track tune-up, and that's why we tested, knocked the tires off, got data, and y'all are all sitting there. I say y'all, when I say y'all, I'm talking to the haters out there. I know there's a bunch of great people that support, and I appreciate everyone, but I'm calling out the haters that are just like, oh, you guys, all you do is knock tires off. This is painful to watch. You guys don't even know. I mean, obviously, we don't want to knock tires off, but that's part of the process, you know?
And the car really has never knocked tires off on the starter line. It always goes out 100 foot, and you'll see why it does it. Once the chassis is alleviated to where it doesn't do that, this thing is going to be deadly in the heat of the day. It's going to go faster than the majority of the cars out there in the heat of the day. Because a lot of people, they have problems pulling off the line. We never have that problem. It's always...
There was one pass in the last video, and I said it, where it said it was just slammed too much power. And that's when you click the button and it smokes tires.
Yep.
So I'm going to grab the camera. We're going to look at some data logs here. We're going to talk about the shock travel on there. As of right now, what we are addressing, that if you guys noticed that last pass we made, I said the injector plug came unclipped. So that wasn't good. Ran it on 7 cylinders. trying to figure out whether it's a fuel pressure issue, a fuel pump issue, a fuel regulator issue, and just make sure everything is good and healthy. And we're also installing a new wishbone on it right now, and we're going to be talking about adjusting bars.
Yeah, I'm going to be designing some new 4-link brackets to get our geometry where you want. We're going to go over here.
We'll talk about that in a whole other video, but right now all we're going to talk about is why we were making changes and show you the difference. And this is a really good video for you guys that are out there interested in those QA1 mod shocks, because you'll see we made a couple valve pack changes at the track early on. We got the valve pack that we wanted, and then, you know, the car was going down, and then, you know, we put a couple more clicks in there, and you could see a big change that allowed us to get to the winner circle. So big shout out to QA1 for making a badass shock. The valve pack idea, concept, everything is perfectly executed. The shock is super reactive to change, which is exactly what we needed. And I mean, really,
they look badass too. I mean,
they look badass.
100% made in the U.S. And we're not over here like just trying to kiss ass. Like if
I'm gonna tell them about a product if I think it's good.
Yeah, if it's a good product, you'll hear it. If it's a bad product, you'll hear it. It's a good product.
So, all right, we'll grab a camera here and we'll talk about some data logs. All right, guys, I got my camera set up here with Matt's laptop in front of it, so I'm not expert at doing this stuff, but hopefully you guys can get a good image on the screen here. This is what a data log from a HOLLEY EFI Dominator looks like. Over here, we've got a couple different screens, so
yeah, you can go through and there's tons of data that the HOLLEY logs. Some of this stuff would normally not be in there. We have our EGT, we have our stuff from our VPS, so that's going to be our G, X, and Y, pitch, yaw, and roll. That's another invaluable tool. Looking at the G meter, the more data you have, you can see like, hey, if the car does something, why did it do it, when it did it, and how am I going to fix it from doing that again. So we have some set up here. It's going to change a little bit because we're bouncing back and forth between a few different cars, because I want to show you some other parallel 4-link cars, how the shock should look and how the sheep looks and what is causing the problem. So you can see here, this is our trans brake release. So you can see the G start to come up. The G is the purple line right here. The red is the shock travel. So normally you'd want your shock travel to be a fairly linear line all the way to where it tops out. So you can see on this car, it comes up a little bit here, and that's probably where the power comes in. The shock velocity, if you had a shock velocity box or some way to measure the shock velocity, you would see that right here there's probably a bunch of shock velocity, and then it comes down. So that's why it does that. It gets into a little bit more valving, calms down, then comes up as power is being applied. So it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, pretty straight linear line. And then right here, right at 4 inches, it starts to really accelerate the shock velocity. It goes from 4 inches to 6.7 in just, you know, we're talking 1/10 of a second. I mean, the shock velocity is just out of control. The shock wants a pretty consistent velocity. It doesn't like a lot of changes in velocity, and this is what's happening. And you can see here on the G meter, right here is where the G falls off. You see how the purple line goes down? That's right when the shock starts to top out. So with this thing coming up and topping out that quick, it's just really upsetting the car. If this thing was a perfectly linear line and didn't have this acceleration right here, then this G meter would carry out and the car wouldn't knock the tires off. So when you see it go out and it knocked the tires off, you know, 40, 50 foot out, it's doing this right here. You can tighten the shocks down, but no matter where you tighten them down to, it still does it. So we can...
Now, we will, can you pull up the data? So this is what we were struggling with. You guys saw that as we would modify the clicks on the shock, we'd get further out. So essentially we were tightening the shock up, and it was getting to this range further out. So if you guys noticed in the video yesterday, first pass, you know, went out there 50 feet, hit the tires. Next pass went out there 80 feet, hit the tires. Next pass after that went out there 150 feet, hit the tires. And you need this extension on a shitty track. This is what's going to get you down fast on a shitty track. Now,
it's also going to keep you from wheeling.
Yep. So once the track really came around, the only thing we could do in order to go as fast as we could was really tighten the hell out of that shock and try to get to top out at the finish line. So I don't know if you got the data log from that, and you could see the difference. Now, nothing on the car changed. We gave it more power, and all we did was tighten up the shock.
This is the pass versus Jason rigging.
Private jet.
Yep. You can see here the shock. So before, zero the timeout. You can see before we were topping the shock out in like the 1.2 range. Well, here We topped it all the way out past the end. I mean, that's 450. He was out of it far before then. So you could see how long it took for it to top the shock out.
But you could still see, if you look at the graph right here, where it gets into that, you know, anything really over 4.5 inches, the shock velocity increases. So we were able to, you know, get down because that shock was able to get tight enough to slow it down through the middle until you're really far out there.
So we had the soft, medium, and firm valve pack, and the medium valve pack full tight was not enough to control that, so we ended up going to the firm valve pack and then reducing our low speed adjustment on the shock. So that was able, we were kind of able to manipulate the shock to band-aid our chassis problem. And one of the things that is causing this is a program. It's an Excel program. You can plot your 4-link angles. It'll show your instant center height, your instant center length, anti-squat. But what I like about this program is I use it on all the 4-wheel drive stuff I do, is it'll show during compression and droop. So droop is going to be your extension. You can see right now at ride height, we start off at 100% anti-squat. It separates 1 inch and it goes to 121% anti-squat. Separate another inch, 140, 160, 180, 200, 213, 220. So what's happening is, as there's more anti-squat being applied, as the shock separates, your shock is having to, if you applied the same amount of power, it's trying harder and harder to separate as anti-squat is increasing. So as the shock's separating, it's increasing, so that's what's happening. So this thing's coming down and it's extending, and when we get to that 5-inch range, we're already at 200% anti-squat. There's nothing that we can do. There's no bar angles that can be modified with the current configuration to where we can reduce that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come and we're gonna make some bar angle length changes on the top bar, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna reduce the amount of change that the anti-squat has from ride height to full extension. This car has shock velocity. That's what all these red lines and stuff are. So we'll turn off all the shock velocity and show the shock travel. So this is a equal length 4-link car.
With the brackets in the correct location.
Yeah, so this is wherever you can get the shock and the geometry correct. You can see we start off, we go from 0 to 7 inches of travel, and it's a very linear line. You see how it's just almost a straight line? It doesn't come up way at the end. It's just one straight line. So you know, this car right here will go 1.0 60 foot on pretty much any track, regardless how bad it is. In the heat of the day, you know, no problems at all. And that's just because the car doesn't like to be upset with large changes in shock velocity. So all these guys out here are like, oh, you're not doing it right. We know exactly what we need to do. We know exactly where we want to be. We cannot get there with the hard parts that are on the car. We have tried to work around it. We've tried to band-aid it. We've tried to do everything we can, because we don't want to make that large change and say, hey, we need to put new 4-link bars in it, and we need a different housing. We don't want to do all that, but now we've done everything that we can to try to get around it, and we're going to go that route. So we're going to fix our geometry issues, and once we do that, the car will go down every time, because it has never had a problem pulling off the line. It is as soon as the shock tops out right there. And the problem is even if you tighten it up, you have to really tighten it up so far that it works only on a killer track. And that's where a lot of people are like, you need the hook book back. The way it was before,
we only went to absolutely amazing tracks.
Yes.
We went down, ran FL2K, track was on kill. Ran lights out, track was on kill. Went shady side, track was on kill. The one thing that a lot of people at home, especially watching, will understand is how much a really good track could band-aid a subpar chassis setup.
Yep.
That's just how it is. So
what we're doing is we're trying to get this set up to where with this is a little bit unconventional, but with this way, it will go down every time on a mediocre track. It will be very consistent. It'll be very forgiving. It'll just be where it needs to be. But we just can't get there with what we have now. It's not like, oh, we don't know how to adjust it, or we don't know how to work the shocks, or we don't know how to make changes. We know exactly what changes we need to make. We know exactly how we need to make them. We just can't do it with our current configuration.
QA1. And this is what you guys should be doing if you're not doing it right now, is going over to QA1.com. There are links in the description below, and purchasing a set of shocks. So we got another set here. Might put these on the Colorado, might use these as a backup.
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick, we're gonna get a pair for.
Bad Apple.
Bad Apple, we just ordered a pair for. This is what they look like out the box. They are, like Matt said, they're absolutely good looking shocks. We order them with a medium valve pack in them. We've got a QA1 sticker. I believe all the shock data and everything is in here, isn't it? Oh, this is your guide. Yeah, tells you everything, how to make adjustments. We talked about that previously in the other video.
Yeah, with the valve pack, it'll have a velocity chart, so you can, if you guys are looking at your shock velocity and trying to make adjustments out there, you can. But
yeah, I mean, these things are.
They really, honestly, like, I know we've really been talking these up, but I truly don't think that we would have been able to win at Capitol if we didn't have these shocks and were able to make these changes.
Oh, I totally agree. Like I said earlier, this shock was able to. We were able to band-aid a bad chassis tune-up. Sorry, a bad chassis issue, a configuration issue. And we were able to allow the shock to essentially go above and beyond its needs and get the car down track. So really, the thing that blows my mind is being able to change the valve pack out at the track. Just being able to do that, I think, is worth its weight in gold. I think the shock performs extremely great, but you can't beat it with this. The serviceability, the adjustability, being able to get it dialed in and get it so fine-tuned. And I will say, for the performance, the price is pretty tough to beat. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, cost-wise, there's not another four-way shock that will even come close to touching it.
Nope.
So
these things are sick. We just ordered a set for the Bad Apple. It has some 7-inch travel shocks coming for that. Slick Rick is definitely going to be running QA1 shocks in the rear. The Black Sheep's got it. The Colorado's got it. Yeah, I mean, QA1 will help you. Will get you.
Yeah, knock you out. I mean, they really, like I said, if you're in the market for a new set of shocks, you know, it's just hard to beat. The AFCOs are good shocks.
There's nothing, and listen, it's all personal preference, all about what you want to do. But when it comes down to it, to me, the freedom and adjustability to make the changes you need right then and there, do it on the spot, is unmatched. So there's really no one out there making a shock that gives you the ability to change it right now.
Yeah, so. Track it literally. If you guys saw the videos, it takes, you know, I think I had the valve packs changed in probably 2 minutes. Yep. You know, in between rounds.
So a big thank you to everyone over at QA1. I didn't say it in my last video when we were at the track. Everyone that helps out. There's so many people. I don't really want to leave anyone out. HOLLEY EFI, TCAM Performance, MSD, Strange, Johnson Lifters, T&D, TRZ Motorsports, everyone over at Dart, MGP, M&M, Byron at Cameron Converter Services. I mean, dude, there's so many. Huron Speed, BTR, Emotion Raceworks. I'm just trying to like look around. I need like, I mean, there's so many people that help us. Huge Torque Converters. I mean, there's so many people that help us do what we do. We're super grateful for all of them, and we want to keep winning and be in the winner's circle a bit more to show them. I mean, we keep Schaefer's Oil. Schaefer's huge change.
Oh, how many passes do we make?
We make like you guys remember we used to change oil every 3 passes. We make like 30 passes on that oil. It is unbelievable. So Schaefer's Oil is huge. I mean, all these companies. They really do help us get to the winner's circle. And one thing I do is like talking about the QA1 shocks. I only talk about stuff I believe in. So it's on my car. It's what we're running. It's proven. So
yeah, first-hand experience. You know,
you guys saw us make the change. You guys saw us adjust it. You guys now saw the data. You got all the facts in front of you. It's up to you guys to make your own opinions from that. So super excited about this. Ava loves the QA1 shocks.
You QA1 dog?
Yeah. Don't bark if you like QA1s.
Breathe if you like QA1s. Yep, see?
Yep, that's it. So that's going to wrap today's video. I know this isn't exciting for some of you guys. For some of you guys that really are into the data side of it, where you got the racing or you got HOLLEY EFI on your card and you're looking at data logs, and now you can pull this up next to the one you're looking at and compare. Hopefully you guys find it cool and interesting. The next couple videos we're going to be working on the Black Sheep. We're going to put the motor in the Blizzard, putting the motor in Slick Rick. The Colorado's almost done. Got another update from Bob. Got some really badass stuff there from him. So yeah, I mean, we're moving and grooving, firing on all cylinders. We got to make some changes to the Black Sheep, like we said. So when we're taking it out next, I'm not sure, but we're getting close. Small block Ford Nasty is up and running. Shannon's getting his motor put back in. Jason Rigney with Private Jet is on board now. He's gonna be rocking some small block Ford stuff, some small block Ford Nasty stuff. As I said in my last video, I think he's probably the world's fastest 8.2 deck small block Ford in existence on planet Earth in this galaxy. So that car is absolutely badass, and they're a great group of dudes. So go check them out at Private Jet Racing on YouTube. They got their own YouTube channel. You can see him make a bunch of passes. He won Woostock, so I mean, clearly They got their shit together. So we're gonna keep plugging away here. Matt's holding the camera. His hand's probably tired. Is your hand tired?
That's my strong hand.
Oh, it's your strong hand. You're good to go. So we're gonna start work. We're gonna film another video. Don't forget to go to lsnasty.com to get entered to win. Boomhauer giveaway going on right now. Every item you purchase and enter to win. We got small block Ford stuff up on the website. We got LS Nasty stuff on the website. We got boxers, hats, socks, shirts, stickers, key tags, flags. I'm literally trying to give you guys the most badass shit possible so you guys can get entries to win a car. And look at Brad. I mean, dude, look at that dude right here. Dude, literally looking like $1 million. Oh, look at Ben too. Look at Ben wearing the same shirt. Look at that. Pal.
Slick Rick. Oh man, I'm so excited for Slick
God,
Rick.
what is that out of? Oh,
The G8.
oh
Oof.
God, dog.
Oof.
Oh, that's
Oof.
why it didn't have compression, huh?
Yeah.
Is that a stock push rod?
No, it's a Most Plus.
Oh my God.
It's a hardened push rod.
Hey, talk to Phil about
Ooh,
it.
it ain't
They
too- it ain't-
apparently lied when
it
they
ain't
said it
too
was
hard.
hard.
It looks like a soft.
It looks like the belly of a snake right here.
Have you tried pouring Viagra in the oil?
Get it back.
You got some?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what?
No.
Joe.
We just
Joe has some.
we just go to the winner circle. That
Joe
does it
has
for
some
us.
I tell
hammers.
you what, I drove back from that race in the master bedroom in the toter, and I steered from the back seat. How's that charged up? What do you know about that, Phil? Nothing. You old as
Hey, you
shit.
should put big tires on it so you can stop knocking tires off now.
Oh,
What
we
are
not-
you, a commenter?
Yeah.
Hey, no, tell me who I need to come tune it.
Oh God. Petty.
Petty.
Yeah.
Steve Petty.
Steve Petty, by the way, we're not ripping on Steve. Steve Petty is questionably one of the world's best tuners, and he'd probably look at the data log and say something wrong with your bars and your chassis. So,
Yeah.
look at this, man.
Boom.
The video's gone to shit.
Hit us with an outro.
Go to lsnasty.com, get entered to win our beautiful New Edge Mustang. I still feel like shit. But
Boom.
shout out to QA1. They helped get us in the winner circle. QA1.
Yeah, we QA1.
Hell yeah.
He get to buy this round. John Doc got to buy this round. The Black Sheep on the property. He got to buy for the next round.